So yeah, hi, welcome to season 2, episode 18 of Once Upon a Game. My name is Eric, and I will be the host of this indie one-shot series here, where we get to just come together with friends and sometimes willing, and sometimes I've kidnapped them against their will, and play story games. So we to this whole month has been nothing but relationship games and romance games, and we're going to continue that pattern tonight with a game called Microscope Union. Um, Microscope Union, I've played a couple times on our channel before. Union is about relationships between family members who, basically the family tree of a hero, is kind of what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to come up with a hero, what the setting is for this kind of person, what noteworthy thing that this hero did, come up with some traits for them, and kind of go through the lineage of this hero and find where these traits kind of originated from or were espoused previously in the past. Because nobody ends up making up their own things. Everybody kind of gets traits from their ancestors, and that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into that kind of stuff, how about let's go around the table here and say how we are. Let's start with Shane. Shane, how are
Hello,
you?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm Shane. I'm actually a new fan of Eric's. I learned how to play Microscope, my goodness, from his channel, and this is my first game of Union ever, so I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having Shane here tonight, and I'm really looking forward to playing Union with you today.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. Cool.
I hope so.
And to over here to the right of Shane is Puddingcat. Puddingcat, how are you tonight?
I am good. I just came in from watching a movie. I unfortunately I missed this one song episode tonight, but the movie was good.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's VODs for that.
yeah.
So
This will be my first appearance on the show and my first time playing any version of Microscope at all.
yeah, awesome. So I'm sure this is actually a pretty fun version of Microscope. It's actually easier in my opinion than regular Microscope. So it's gonna be a really cool ride here. And last but certainly not least, Adam, how are you, my friend?
So I believe the question was, how am I doing?
Yes.
I am the sleepiest of the group, and I am
I will
at
raise you
fault
some
for all of
sleeping.
this.
I will call your sleepiness and I will raise.
I will call your sleepiness and I will raise you a 3-hour time delay.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Damn.
I guess I'm the least sleepiest here then.
Yeah, the correct answer is that you're too tired to do anything.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Since this is Once Upon a Game and this is a story game style show, there's a couple rules I want to go over beforehand, kind of maybe give us a little bit of a lay of a land before we jump into actually playing the game. So the first off is that this is a show where we focus on games that the number one impetus for play and the number one thing that we're doing here is letting you tell a story. You as a person get to use your brain more than the rules of a game. You get to be a major shareholder of this group, or stakeholder in actually getting heard and having something happen. So it's going to be less about dice rolling, it's less about that type of things, and more about telling an amazing story. The way you do that is through a couple little tricks here. I know I've said these a lot, and some of them might be like, "Oh, that's obvious," but I always like being obvious. And the first thing is listening. Listening to what the other players are talking about and what kind of elements they're introducing into the game, and kind of trying to find ways to tie that stuff back into the game in different ways. Following a yes and, if you're familiar with any sort of like improvisational comedy style stuff, always try to always be building up on what other people say. The second thing is to steal liberally. Don't be afraid to take something. Hey, Puddingcat just saw a movie tonight. If he ended up taking a little quirk about a character from that movie and brought it into the game, that's awesome. You should be doing that because it's so much easier than coming up with something like, way off the top of your dome, like that. It's a lot of work. Don't worry about it. Just come up with amalgamations. Odds are we won't even realize that you're doing it. Third, always try to shoot for the obvious. Go for the first thing that's in your head. Several different studies and things like that show that what's obvious to you and like what your first thought of like decision that you want to go with is not what's obvious or the first decision that other people would go with. We're playing this. We play games to find out what happens, right? Like that's the number one reason why we kind of play games, and by introducing that sort of random element instead of relying on like dice, that this is our surprise, and it's really rewarding. That's sort of like the how do you actually story game. And because this is a one shot, I encourage everybody to go super hard. I want you to load up your rocket ships of imagination full of brain fuel here, and go as high and far as possible in space. And the way we do that safely is that we use the veil, or an X card, depending on the circumstances. A friend of mine actually was talking to me about the differences and clarified them for me, and I will talk about them now. So the veil is if you ever come across a topic in a game that you're not comfortable with exploring at this point, but you still want it to be in the game, you just want to kind of like fade to black, something like that, then you can just do like, hey, can we just not talk about this? Can we let it go? Awesome. Just say exactly that, or let me know, or I don't even care if you use the X card stuff. So if there's something that you absolutely do not actually want in the game and you want it like fictionally retconned, that would be the X card. It's the same rules. So like just do this or like that, or message me saying like privately, being like, listen, I'm not comfortable. I know I said I'm okay with spiders coming out of people's skin 20 minutes ago, but I'm not feeling it. That's totally fine, because consent matters, and you can take that back, and that's totally fine. Your safety and happiness is more important than spiders coming out of skin, and we won't make you have to justify, because it's magic. You don't need a reason. We trust you. We might have to ask some clarifications about some certain things of like what kind of boundaries would you prefer to have. But other than that, I mean, we want to work with you, right? We're not trying to put you on a spot or anything if you are uncomfortable. I don't think we ever had to do that on the game before, but that's the fire extinguisher in the room. That's the break glass in case of emergency mechanic that we have for the show. That's why it's important that I always talk about it, even though it like almost never comes up. But that rule is only as good as we're willing to agree to it. Are we cool with that, everybody?
Good here.
Yep.
Cool. All right, thumbs up. That counts. My lawyers say that thumbs up counts. All right, cool. So I think then we're ready to begin with Union here. So Union is different than regular old Microscope in several ways. Kind of like what I was talking about in the beginning. But instead, do we all have our copy of our books open, or do we have a copy of the books around right now, guys?
Yeah, I do.
Something that I like to do for Microscope is I like to take turns actually reading the beginning of the book. So like we're going to be taking turns reading the first paragraph, which is page 84 of the PDF, starting with each of us. And I'll read that first paragraph, and then how about we go around left to right, so in the same kind of order. So I'll read the first paragraph, then Shane will go, then Puddingcat, then Adam. And we'll just do it until we read out this page. It's sort of like hey, I'm facilitator of this game, but I don't have the authority of this kind of game. It's also a way so we all kind of know what we're doing tonight. Is that okay? Does that all sound good?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Cool. So I'll start. Each of us is created by those who came before us. We are the result of countless unions. Our parents bring us into the world and shape us, just as each of them were brought into the world by their parents of their own, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Without every one of our ancestors, we wouldn't be here. This game is a spin-off of Microscope that explores family and ancestry. We'll make the end of our history first, creating a hero who did something noteworthy, like curing a plague, slaying a dragon, or founding a city. but instead of spending the game examining the hero and their achievements, we'll go back and put their deed in perspective by fleshing out their ancestors who made the hero who they are.
We'll jump back and forth across the generations to explore the lives that interest us. We may roam around the entire family tree or focus on just a few people that capture our imagination. That's up to us.
The life of each ancestor and how they came together to make the next generation is a story of its own. As we play, we should live each life like it's the center of the story. Some of these unions may be happy, some sad, some triumphant, some tragic. Some long and others terribly brief.
But without each of those unions, the hero would not have been. Ellipses. Thank you, guys. That's sort of the game that we're going to be playing here. So let me go over to the game board that I have set up. So over here, I set up what's called the family tree. As you can see at the bottom, this blank index card here is our hero. That's going to be that's what we're going to be fleshing out here. Right above them is going to be our parents. I know it looks like a weird like M, and it will all get explained in a little bit. Above them are grandparents, and then above them are the great-grandparents. What's going to happen is that if you're looking at one of these index cards with the lines and the arrow stuff in the middle, the left and right solid chunk bars, those are going to be the parents. Male or female, it doesn't matter. You're just going to assign one of them at the start. Whichever one you want to pick. If you want the left one to be the mom, then go ahead, or whatever. This also is just who gave birth to you. It's not necessarily the relationship. Okay, so that's kind of how it builds out. So let's continuing the example of the parent of the hero. Let's say we made the dad of the hero to the left. That means his parents then would be the ones in the next echelon, or like the next row above, right? So the grandparents above the left-hand side of the parent card would be the grandparents of the father, because we said the father was on that left-hand card, and vice versa for the mother then on the right-hand side, and so forth. So that's kind of like how the structure of what the game kind of looks like. Okay. Next up, then, we're going to actually start describing stuff about the hero, and we're kind of ready to begin. So we're going to come up with what the hero's sort of like deeds were, like what they kind of did, what they're known for, and from there we're going to start fleshing out the world and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So what's interesting though is that we kind of do this before the palette. So yeah. So let's kind of just go ahead and start talking about what our hero's deed will want to be. So what did the hero do that was so important that we want to explore how they came to be? There's some examples in the book. Like they cured a plague. They slew a great dragon. They united the 5 kingdoms. They made peace with the machine AIs. A couple games that I did, one of them created the first FTL engine. Another game that I did, we founded the first Wizards Academy, which was a lot of fun. Just to give you some ideas, if that helps. If no one's quite sure what they want to do, maybe we can start agreeing though on like a gender or a genre of fiction if we wanted to explore.
Okay.
Unless someone has an idea already.
I had one.
Yeah, what's up?
I've always been a big fan of like combining two things that don't go together. So I was thinking this could be like the first artificer, someone who blends technology and magic together. That could get a very different lineage depending on where the parents come from.
Oh, yeah. Working with that, maybe they had an invention of some kind. Maybe he's like he's known for the invention, and the invention was the first synthesis of magic and machine.
Okay.
I don't know. What do we think about that? Are we on board with that, Adam or Puddingcat?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that. I'm kind of interested maybe in some kind of invention that involves weather, maybe.
That'd be cool.
Ooh. Does it predict, like, I was thinking, like, predicts the weather, or does it control the weather?
See,
Is it like a rain machine?
I went full conspiracy with this, and I was thinking like harp.
I'm sorry. What you mean, the instrument?
No, I think he's talking about
HAARP. Like in the conspiracy theory world, they believe the government has this thing called HARP, which is like a weather control machine, which is why the jokes about like the
that was
government's
like
controlling the weather and stuff like that.
So they
that's like
push
some
a button
Star
and
Wars
it's
kind
rain
of.
type thing.
See, I've never heard of harp.
I
This
think
is
it's.
fascinating. What is it?
I think it's from the '80s, isn't it?
Is this the chemtrail
Could be.
stuff? Is this chemtrails?
It's analogous.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Okay.
So some sort of like weather control apparatus.
Our hero invented magic chemtrails.
Invented the first weather control device. Of course, I didn't make that box large enough. That's
And
okay.
perhaps that was because the weather was just going completely out of control, like, horrible magic storms, fire from the sky, God knows what.
Yeah.
Cats and dogs sleeping together.
Yep.
Okay. So, this is the great deed that our hero performed. Interestingly enough, Shane started talking about the next step of the process, which is sort of describing the circumstances of why this invention was necessary. Let's.
Sorry, I read ahead.
Yeah, no, let's go. That's good. So let's talk about that. So you mentioned that it's because of there were these great storms.
Yeah, I was thinking something, truly destructive. More than just, an earthquake or something like that. I'm talking like the end times predicting weather.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. When I'm thinking, my idea of building off when you think of end times, you know what I think of? I think of like the weather is completely fucked from like a army, like a magical wizard war, or something like almost like weapons of mass destruction left the weather all messed up. Maybe in the aftermath of a war, weather is uncontrollable due to like magic, like magical fallout, and in order to like bring civilization kind of back, we need to be able to control the weather. And
We've got to solve the iron wind problem.
yeah. So just to take a quick little step back, after we pick the deed of inventing the first weather control device, we're supposed to talk a little bit more about how the hero came about doing that.
Okay.
I'm waiting for this fire truck to go by, or ambulance. Okay, so we just a little short summary of maybe how they did it. Since we're not going to actually like get to explore how they do it in play, this is sort of just to give us an idea of some circumstances that were going on. So what I'm thinking is, really, cop cars, really. So was he hired by somebody to do it? Did he do it on his own? What do we want to do?
I think hired. Hired is cool.
So he was. All right. So he
I'm
was.
sure he has a personal interest in it too if it's this catastrophic.
Oh yeah. I mean, he certainly has a internal need to do this, but like I'm basically thinking how he got his workshop and how he got set to do this. Whether he was basically, did he have a benefactor or not? Is what I'm trying to get at. So in the.
I'm also thinking he's not the sole recipient of like this grant or whatever it would be. I'm thinking he was a part of a team, and he is the one who eventually rose out of the team to
Oh.
create
So he's in
the
a
wonderful
workshop.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
So
was
he's
probably
like, he was like,
doing.
oh, he was in a guild?
That would be cool. Or maybe part of two, because he does blend two different things. He would be one of the
Yeah,
few.
he's the first artificer, I guess. So what kind of guild? Some kind of magic guild, and then some kind of did they have engineering, or was it something more primitive?
It would be like a workshop thing, like a Da Vinci type engineer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking was he was the first to use technology with magic. So like
Hmm.
um so it probably was more like Mages Guild trying to figure out how to solve their own problems because they are the ones who invented this Fallout
Right.
and
Yeah.
they realized that blending technology is the answer. Okay. That's
yeah.
that's
Our hero is
probably
probably like, you use math with both.
yeah.
He's probably just like a really good mathematician.
What do you mean, math? Math isn't useful.
He's a math magician.
Exactly.
I'm finding this extra funny because I'm a math teacher. I'm sorry.
Cool. So the impetus for doing this was that magical weather storms were caused by aftermath of a war. And now the last but not least thing is that we're going to be coming up with traits. Essentially, what these traits are going to be, we have to come up with like three like core essential traits to the hero. These are the things that this hero needed. Absolutely, they were absolutely required in order for them to accomplish their deed.
So should we each just say one?
Yeah, that works.
Maybe we could each do one, since there are four of us.
Sure.
So I'm going to go first. I'm going to say resourceful. He had to pull knowledge from essentially every single notebook, every single parent's or grandparents' or great-grandparents' work that he could find in order to solve this problem.
That's really good. Okay.
I think I want to say he needed some kind of a fuel or catalyst or something like that made it possible. Some kind of, maybe it was an undiscovered substance or it was something that wasn't applied before.
Okay, so since these are supposed to be traits that were like passed down, so it wouldn't have been the item, but it would have been like the insight to do that.
Yeah.
Would that be like creative? Like I'm trying to think of a way. Maybe like does that not go under resourceful? I'm trying to think of a way that could be distinguishing because I get what you're saying. I'm just trying to think of a way to phrase it.
Well, okay, why would he be the first one to use that material? That might give us the answer.
I don't know. I think it was because he was the one who got the idea first, and his inspiration must come from something. So I mean,
Lucky break.
lucky. I mean, yeah, like lucky
Yeah.
could work, or really really smart, right? Like really intelligent.
Maybe persistent.
Yeah.
Maybe he tried a bunch of different things and then he managed to find it where somebody else didn't.
Yeah, persistent's a good one. I like persistent. I haven't seen persistent in play before. That's nice. Some examples from the book that they give for a dragon slayer are like resolute, cunning. They're a strategist. They're a sorcerer adept. They're vengeful. They're compassionate, and blood of both elf and man. Traits are usually virtues, but they can just as easily be things about the hero that were dark yet necessary to accomplish the goal. So if we have resourceful and persistent, maybe I'll cede the floor if someone else has an idea for the third one. Something I was thinking about was something about magical ability, like magical talent. But
No, I think that should definitely be on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because of the kind of setup that we have, like something about his magical ability should definitely be there.
okay, so then like magic adept is a thing that I'm thinking of. Okay, so the last thing we're going to be doing there is we're going to actually come up with our hero's name.
Oh, I thought you said we had 4 traits. Doesn't Adam get one?
Yeah, I have one.
No,
I was gonna.
it's 3 traits.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, did I say 4?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm so sorry, guys.
So I have an idea that maybe we can synthesize into something we already have. I was going to say like pure theorist or something like that.
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't just put pure theorist on this sheet.
Sure.
Just so describe why pure theorist is necessary for him accomplishing the first weather controlled device. Or her,
I think he doesn't care when he's sorting through a problem about how it might be practically implemented. So he just keeps making notebooks with hundreds of ideas. And they're just theories. He doesn't care about application at first. But one of them does have a practical application, and it's very easy to implement.
So he's very theoretically minded.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. All right, so it's, in a way it's like creative.
Yeah.
But like creative in a way that's not like it's more dreamy than it is or like intellectual exercise for his application.
I'm also totally imagining that thing that game designers do where they just use awkward, terrible metaphors for everything.
I was thinking armchair detective, where they don't like leave their seat. They're like, yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining a conversation with our hero being like, well, you see, there's like the snow globe at the center, but then there's rods sticking out of the snow globe, and things can't go into the snow globe; they can only come out. And
Makes sense, man.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, it's just like that. And you're like, I don't understand at all. You just described some kind of weird torture device.
and it turns, but it's on fire. But it's only on fire when it turns.
But I thought you said it's a snow globe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, it's still a snow globe.
There's actually no snow in it. It's just kind of like on
It's
a
more
low
fire.
simmer.
It's actually fire in the
pouring
globe.
water.
Cool. So we do the hero's traits, and now that we're done that, now we're gonna follow the regular rules for Microscope's palette. So the way the palette works is that we're gonna take turns coming up with 2 or 3 things apiece. That things for yes, which are things that we want to see in the game. You're basically giving an opportunity to flag an idea or a theme or a type of conflict that you want to see in the game. Or you can also flag things to not be in the game. So basically like a no. Like, no, I don't want to see aliens or something like that, right? So I am going to just draw a line between S's and no's here. Good enough.
Parallel-ish.
It's close enough.
Yeah. Super good. Okay. So, the top part will be yeses and the bottom part will be no's. I'll just mark this with a Y, and I'll mark this with an N. Alright. So normally I normally play this game in something other than Roll20, mostly because of this reason. But I wanted to give Roll20 another shot. So let's see here. So, is there anything that jumps out to any of us that we want to definitely see in this game or definitely not want to see in this game?
I am definitely going to put the mathematical side of things on the yes part of it. like magic and technology are both very mathematical.
Okay. So put mathemagic.
Yeah. And there's a lot of similarities that can be drawn with how we do math in the real world and how people do magic in this world and stuff like that.
Something like the number of components you need for a spell is like a Fibonacci sequence, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the no category, just because I think March is going to be full of this, I'm going to say no Lovecraftian horror.
That's gonna be pretty rough on Adam, isn't it?
Is that okay?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm asking Adam if that's okay, if he really, really wants to include Lovecraft.
I'm not a fan of Lovecraft.
Okay.
I mean, Lovecraft's fine. Lovecraft is very cool, but I'm not as much of a fanatic of Lovecraft as like I portray.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
So my typical rule of thumb for how we organize and do the palette is that everybody gets to put forward one thing, and then once everybody puts forward one thing, then you can put forward another thing. So everybody gets a chance to incorporate something. So now it's left between me and Puddingcat. Do you have anything, Puddingcat?
I want to see some kind of like, I don't know how I would describe it, but I'm thinking something like something like a political upheaval or a revolution or something along those lines. Like maybe it happened in the setting, you know, it doesn't have to be something that's ongoing, but something that's kind of in the history that maybe is.
Yeah, no, you want to see foreign intrigue is a way of putting it. Do you mean like spies and stuff, or do you want to see like some like just straight up international like war?
I was thinking more like maybe like Civil War, maybe. Like there was something that happened like in the history that kind of gets called back to maybe at some point.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, I love that. Civil War. I like the idea of having a Civil War. Wait, did you want that Civil War with intrigue?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not that you wanted the Civil War. You want like the ramifications of the war to come.
Yeah, I want the ramifications of it.
Yeah. That's why I wanted.
Yeah, like Civil War happened, and so it changed the setting somehow.
Oh yeah. Something that I want. Okay, I guess actually this would be a yes. I was thinking about how I want to phrase what I want, and so not only is there math and magic, magic has a cost.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
So like more like swords and sorcery style stuff. You're either like making deals with some sort of like mathematical power, or it like ages you, you know, and like something like there's blowback to when you use magic. Right?
Might I suggest law of equivalent exchange?
Yeah, I was gonna say something like that. Like you have to be very careful about how you measure things out, because if you're not, then bad things happen.
Yeah.
I'm guessing some of the wizards in the setting just don't care or don't understand, and they just
they got really creative in the war.
maybe that's partly why the weather weather patterns happen, because a bunch.
Who cares? I have unlimited power. It's not.
Who cares? Like
Who cares if I implode if we win the battle, right? It's the idea.
Yeah.
Or like could be an idea. Okay. So math magic. Okay, so now we've all gone. So let's go ahead and just cycle through again. We don't have to do the same turn order. Maybe just from our table talking and conversation, something came to mind. And feel free to speak up.
I would like to see some sort of forbidden love. We are focusing on the relationship between the parents, and I feel like some of the pairings were definitely not approved, especially if we're blending technology.
Yeah, forbidden
and
love. That's a good one. Yep, I love. Putting star-crossed lovers is one of my favorite things to put on palettes. So I like.
It's a good source of drama.
Yeah, It's
Intention.
yeah. So our no column's pretty empty. So something I'm gonna put on here. So there's no Lovecraft horror. There's also no fantasy races. We're dealing with just humanity.
Is that including like magical beasts as well, or just you're talking about no other
Oh
humanoid?
no Tolkien, no like Tolkien like fantasy races.
So there
But,
might be monsters or something like
Yeah,
that.
like I'm willing to leave it on the table for like a Witcher like world with monsters.
Okay,
But if someone else wants to ban that out for their turn, I'm cool with that too.
Just-
I'm leaving that open for someone else to
just making sure what you meant.
Yeah, no problem. That's what we do here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, just one more time. Then no like elves, orcs, gnomes, goblins.
I'm gonna say no. I want to make weird off the wall no choice.
It's usually good.
I want to say no to celestial objects. Like the star, there's no sun, there's no moon, and there's no stars.
So nothing from the stars. Okay. So just to let you know, I want to clarify something here.
Sure.
So I was thinking that the positions of and alignments of stars and planets could be something about magic having a cost and its ramifications. Does that play a role in any way of when you say no celestial objects? So like I'm not actually dealing with like meteorites or anything like that, but something like that. Being like, oh, it's winter, and that means these certain spells are weaker. Something like that. No?
I actually like that. I think that's kind of cool, and I think that sort of makes sense. So I'm going to maybe.
You don't have to modify it. We can leave it at no celestial objects. It was just a question of where do we draw the line if I want
No,
to do
the
something
thing
like
is,
that,
I'm
right?
changing my preference.
Okay.
I'm going to rescind my choice of saying no celestial objects,
Okay.
and I am going to say we don't have a blinding daytime like we do in this world. So you always get to see the stars and planets and stuff
So
like
no
that.
regular day-night cycle.
Right.
That's probably has
It's
something
just
to do with-
always the sort of like very bright night.
So it's like Duskwall. So
I feel like
I don't
Duskwall's
know. I know what you're saying though, because I think
Yeah.
it actually fits well with a sort of like magical post-war, of like it's
Yeah,
something
true.
with the remnants of how the sky and stars work.
Mhm. Like eventually there was such a large magic blow that magic was just like, okay, we're taking your son. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is actually a pretty cool world.
So is
this
it?
is this is kind of like post World War I world, right?
So is it always dark? Is that what I'm hearing, or
I think
is it always light?
or does it range between like dusk to dawn, and then like cycles back to dusk immediately?
Yeah, is there like is like midday actually darkness and then it like comes back and it just like it just doesn't. It's jarring. Like when you say no regular day night cycle.
In my own head, I was thinking like it's always just the sort of the stars are always out and extremely bright. And maybe we have a moon that's
Well, maybe the stars are now visible in the daytime
yeah,
as well. How about that?
that works too.
Because then, or is it like almost perpetually nighttime where we can see the stars? This is your turn. Like I'm not trying to command.
Yeah,
this from
exactly.
you.
I think I want a glowing moon.
Okay.
It's
So-
not reflecting light anymore. It's producing its own light.
Oh.
So it's like,
And I might have said something about how scientists were wrong, how we thought it was reflecting light the whole time when actually it was generating its own, and
Oh, so we don't have a sun anymore.
yeah, like in this world, I think the sun and moon were always these two celestial lights. Like in our world, you can see like the rock-like patterns on the moon, but in this world, it was just like a white ball of
It was
light.
the two perfect spheres.
Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Okay. Cool.
okay, so I had kind of a weird idea. It's kind of out there, but I think maybe it might be interesting considering some of the stuff that we've said. And this is also partly because it's February. I was thinking maybe there's no flowers. So like when people have like romantic exchanges, we have to come up with some other tradition that they use.
That's
To like-
clever.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Awesome. No
And that was
flowers.
very off the wall.
Cool. I dig that a lot, actually.
It's going to force us to be really creative.
Leverington in chat says there's following up on the moon giving its own light is that there's luminescent fungus on the moon because it's cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm digging that. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm pretty sure we're ready to do the first pass. Which means once we're done the first pass, we're gonna begin play. So in terms of the game, we're gonna do our first pass, and then we're gonna get ready and do our first little break, and then we'll come back and actually start playing the game. Okay. So the first pass, and so in regular Microscope, the first pass in the setup phase, you get to start like creating elements in the game. We're doing that in the same way here. However, the elements that we're making in the game are going to be some of the ancestors on the sheet here. So what's going to happen is that, so since I'm the facilitator, it recommends that, and for the first time players, that the facilitator just kind of does the first one and does it first way, just in the same way if we were playing Microscope, the facilitator would probably go first. We're going to take turns, and we're going to be filling in one of these empty left or right sections of these cards. We're going to be ignoring that middle bar in the meantime. What we're going to do is once we select one of those, we're going to be creating the person who's going to be the ancestor. And what we're going to do is we're going to be summarizing their life before they meet their partner, sort of like what they do and what they did. And then last but not least, we're going to describe how their life was before they met their partner, if it was light or dark. Okay?
Okay. I have a quick question before you do that.
Sure.
Do we need a name for the hero?
Oh shit! You're right. Yeah, we absolutely do. Thank you. What is the name for our hero? I kind of wanted to be a girl or a lady.
Okay.
Is that okay, everyone?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
That sounds cool.
For some reason, I want to I don't want to pitch another thing about her, but for some reason, I think like the last name Alexander fits really well. But
Okay.
I don't have a first name. I just know that last name is Alexander. For some reason, it feels like I don't know. It's just in my head, it's screaming Alexander is her last name.
Okay. Trying to come up with a nickname because I feel like she probably has one.
Cypher.
I like
No.
Cypher.
Which means her name is probably something like
That's
Cyrilla or like
Celeste.
Celeste. Yeah.
I was gonna go.
Sybil, maybe Sybil.
Ooh, Sybil. Yeah.
Sybil's good.
Is Sybil spelled with a Y?
Sybil.
Well, there's different
I think
spellings.
it's-
but,
Yeah. Okay. Sybil.
I just had it in mind because of the playthrough Adam did for their game a while back.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like that a lot. So Sybil Cipher Alexander is going to be the name of our hero. Cool. So I'm gonna make the first pass here. So I'm gonna start and kind of dictate kind of what's gonna happen. I'm going to make one of her parents. I'm gonna make one of Cypher's parents. I'm gonna make her her father. Her father is so I'm picturing a military leader, somebody in like a very like not necessarily fascist part of the city or any or whatever side is in the war, but definitely very like totalitarian or very regimented. Like it's very authoritative, right? Like it's a very like it like runs like clockwork. You know what I mean? Like it's very much like the efficiency is key style organization. And so I'm gonna give him the title of Field Marshal. Field Marshal Victor Alexander. And for this Field Marshal, something about his life is you see him. We see him as like maybe we see it a little bit like a montage, and we see him start out as being like he like signs up for the military, and we see him like do some sort of like daring escapade during the war, and he gets sent like because he's like really resourceful, he gets sent to magic training school, like magic officer academy, and you see him get like promoted, and you see him like start taking more and more like responsibility, and now like we see him as like he's like a little bit older, like he's like maybe like late 30s. He looks more grizzled. He looks more determined, and he's in some sort of like very high prestigious leadership part of the organization. Whether or not the war's still going on or anything like that, it's not clear, but he's definitely around and very awarded, like decorated is the word I'm thinking of. And so I think he, I mean, his life is very much full of hardship from a war, but overall I think his life is light. So I'm gonna make a white box there to indicate that it's light. Okay. I just chose to put the dad on the right side for this one. That's just what it is. Okay. So that's what we're gonna be doing. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rotating, and we're each going to do this for a character. Okay.
Sounds cool. Who's step up next?
Oh, I guess you, Shane. Let's just go down the order of what we have on screen here. So I was at the top, so it's going to be Shane, Adam, then Puddingcat.
Cool.
So
Okay.
basically, in our Zoom window, we're going to be operating like counterclockwise.
Okay. So continuing with the line of Patriots, I would like to do Victor's mom,
Okay.
who.
I will go ahead and summarize and type it.
Right. So her name is, let's see, Celeste Carr, Carr. She was an illusionist and like subterfuge type mage, so they used her as a spy during the Civil War. So a lot of what she did was essentially almost chameleon-like, fitting in where she needed to be, completing her mission, getting out.
Awesome.
Very business, very hard. So I'm going to categorize her life up till now as dark, because it's all about shadows and making sure she doesn't get caught.
Perfect. So I'm just making a little box here for you that says it's dark for Celeste Carr. Cool. All right, Adam.
dinging around with the unmuted button. It's great. I think I'm going to continue this serpent-like suggestion upward, and I am going to describe Celeste Carr's father,
Okay.
and I think his name is going to be Plumbus Aurum.
Nice. Lead.
Uh,
What side of the card do you want the father? Basically the great grandfather of the hero.
the left.
Okay. His name was Plumbus,
Yes.
and said Arum,
Yes.
Like gold.
Aurum.
so lead gold.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I just
Wait,
steal your thunder about what he did?
That's okay. Reveal it to all. It's fine.
No, go ahead. What did he do?
I
What
think
was his
he is. I didn't think this far ahead. I think he is a middling wizard, but he's a criminal. He's probably learned this trick where he like synthesizes lead bullets out of seemingly nothing. Like he does the reverse, like I think he does a reverse gold to lead trick, where he maybe has this gambit where he's like stealing gold out of people's like jewelry boxes and stuff like that, but he only needs like this sliver of gold. Like you might not even see it to like it just pop bullets into like this pistol.
I just got the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And he's been out for revenge after revenge after revenge, and that was pretty much his entire life. And probably that union's just like a fling he had.
So is that like light or dark? Do you think his life is light or dark?
Dark.
Makes sense. Cool. And then last but certainly not least, Puddingcat.
All right, I'm still don't have a good name yet.
Names are tricky as hell.
Yeah. Let's go with J, JAE. It's going to be the Victor's father. It's going to be J. Tarsen, Tarsen. And so his life was he was basically an adventurer. He kind of ran around and did sort of an Alan Quatermain or Ernest Hemingway kind of deal. He or I guess even Teddy Roosevelt. He kind of just ran around and did he looked for big game to hunt. He looked for just various places to go that were far away from home to get into adventures, and managed to be successful at it, and then ended up retiring and became a businessman.
So would you account that his life is light or dark?
I think he's light.
Cool. So he's like a rich dilettante or something that got into a bunch of things. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Cool. So that means we're done the first pass of Microscope Union, which means when we come back from our break, I will be the first lens. I'll pick the card that we're going to focus on, and when we do that, we're going to start making the history around that card and really getting into the gritty of someone's relationship. So stay tuned. We'll be back in about 8 minutes. So get some water, get some tea, and we'll see you then. So take care, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.